Hello and welcome to Easy Like a Sunday Morn. I'm your host, Shane Lockwood. This is episode 54 and today's the 24th of April 2016. I want to say thank you to everybody who is listening to this for the very first time, and to those who are regular listeners, welcome back. This podcast is not going to be pushing a particular agenda, or it's not about trying to find a niche market. This podcast is about you. What you do with it is completely up to you, and I think this is completely revolutionary in terms of podcasts. What you do with it is up to you. This is 30 minutes where you can either sit back, relax, and unwind, and let go of the events of the previous week while gearing up and boosting yourself, preparing yourself for the week ahead. Or you can use this podcast as a 30-minute timer for whatever it is that you need to do but don't particularly like doing, but need a voice, a distraction. So whether you're doing data entry, whether you're cleaning a fish tank, whether you're mowing the lawn, it's not the best time to be listening to a podcast. But if there's all sorts of things that you need to be doing, but you need that mental distraction on something else while you're doing it, this is the podcast for you. I talk about a wide range of topics, but the focus is going to be on personal improvement. You can use this podcast to go for a jog for 30 minutes, lift weights for 30 minutes, do whatever it is that you need to do for 30 minutes. Now, what I wanted to do today was address a few celebrity deaths. It's not something that I do very often. But before I do that, I'm going to be talking about what we're going to be planning on doing in this podcast over the next year. But before I do that, I wanted to apologise for there not being a show last week. I was sick as a dog. I was going to record a show just saying I'm sick, there's no show today, but I think that's a bit of a waste. It gets people's hopes up, and then they want a 30-minute show, and then it's a 2-minute dialogue of me just saying that I'm sick and couldn't do the show. I was very, very sick, and it was some sort of flu fever thing. I had a very hot forehead. I had night sweats. I had the chills. It was just a mess. I'd actually lost 2 kilograms of sweat just overnight, and that's not good. But I'm better now, and I'm back in action, and I'm back in the saddle. So welcome aboard, and what we're going to do is, if you're sitting down, just relax, have a beverage handy. If you are sitting at a table, maybe have a notepad and a pen handy. And if you are driving a truck, wake up and make sure you're staying on your side of the road. But better yet, you're probably better off pulling over to the side of the road for 30 minutes and just having a bit of a time out, relax, calm down, chillax, stop, revive, survive. We're all about safety here at Easy Like a Sunday Morn. Have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, just relax, unwind. I was going to suggest maybe an alcoholic beverage. If you are in a safe space and you can do that, then by all means do that. The purpose of this podcast is to try and encapsulate the feel of Sunday morning. Sunday is the day when weightlifters do not train. Why? They have pulled muscles, torn muscles, ripped muscles, and they've put their body through its paces throughout the week. And then it comes to Sunday, they have a day off, and it allows the bodies to regenerate, the muscles to repair and regenerate. So a day of non-training is beneficial for them. As a student, you need a day or a few hours where you are not studying. Give your brain a rest, give yourself a chance to process the stuff, the information. You're inputting all this information, but it has to process, has to make sense. If you are just listening to this as a relaxation exercise, that's fine. Sit down, relax, kick your shoes off. Maybe it's Sunday morning where you are and you've had a bit of a sleep in. Sunday is traditionally the time when you would sleep in. Or maybe you have to be up early and for religious reasons or whatever. But even a religious service should be somewhat relaxed and not too serious. But we're going to deal with a few things this week. Now that you're calm and relaxed and you are letting go of the events of the week, and you're slowly but surely building up and gearing up for the events of the following week. What we're going to do is talk about a few celebrity deaths that I need to address. The first is the artist formerly known as Prince, and as I speak, they've already cremated the body. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I liked Prince. I liked a few of his songs, but I never met the man, and I'm not necessarily a fan of him or his antics or whatever, but I do remember him being spoken about by Charlie Murphy on the Dave Chappelle show, and the stories that they would tell were absolutely hilarious. So for that, I will always be grateful to Prince for that. The song Red Corvette, Party Like It's 1999, those sorts of songs are part of my life, so I have to give credit where credit is due. I think what happened was, or what I've read was that Prince needed a blood transfusion, but he rejected it because he's a Jehovah's Witness. And because of a misinterpretation of one of the books, books in the New Testament, where Paul was talking to the Gentiles and the Jews, and they were trying to sort out food laws so that the Gentiles were not upsetting the Jews that had recently converted to Christianity, because certain foods were considered unclean, etc., etc. But under Christianity, those things were no longer considered unclean. But they brought in a blood ruling, where the thing was, you could eat meat, whatever, just don't consume blood. Now, the Jehovah's Witnesses have interpreted that as not accepting blood transfusions and things like that. So it's one of those weird, wacky things that it goes against science because it's a nightmare. But Prince was a devout Jehovah's Witness, and that caused a lot of trouble. He was also a vegan, but I don't have a problem with the vegans. I want to clarify that. I just have a problem with the cult-like mentality that surrounds it. Eat what you want. Don't eat what you don't want. Doesn't worry me. It doesn't worry me if you don't eat eggs or cheese or whatever. But I think I have an issue where people are trying to force their beliefs and things onto other people. That's when it becomes a bit off-putting, and you just do more harm than good. Another vegan celebrity who passed away recently, on the same day to be honest, was former WWE wrestler Chyna, spelt Chyna, and she was one of the first female wrestlers to win the big championship belt, and she may have won it twice, but I don't know for sure on that one. Don't quote me on that one. But she was a vegan, and as a vegan, she was cleaning up her life. She'd gone to Japan to sort out her life, just renew everything, and then she came back to the United States. And there was a push for her to join the WWE Hall of Fame, and what else was she doing? She was doing YouTube videos, and she did a bit of a rambling video, but as her last video, and people are saying, oh, well, she's on drugs, or she was depressed and she committed suicide. That's unfair. It's unfair to say that because the autopsy hasn't come back yet, and we won't know the full extent until that gets revealed. But the media are so clamouring. They want to push the idea that a celebrity died because they were on drugs or they committed suicide. They want some sort of gory details, and gossip merchants, people lap that stuff up, right? But that's the nature of celebrities and things. I've never met any of these people, but I do have a lot of respect for Chyna, because she was someone who, she'd been through a lot, and the WWE treated her like dirt. Basically chewed her up and spat her out. And she was turning her life around. And I was watching her YouTube videos, so I sort of felt like a bit more of a connection, more so than with Prince. That's all I've got on to say with that. It's a little bit negative, but we're going to move on to some positive stuff. Next week, I'm going to be starting a little thing I call 50 Weeks of Awesome. Hang on, let me clarify that. 50 Weeks of Awesome, or 50 Weeks Till Awesome. And so the idea being that we're going to talk about like financial goals, health, mental fitness, physical fitness, goals, things that you want to do, have, or achieve. But give yourself 50 weeks to do it, and you're going to move slowly, week by week, towards your goals. And you can give me feedback as to what it is that you want to do with your life. Don't tell anybody else what your goals are, because they will crap on them. They will tell you it can't be done. So they will come up with excuses for you not to do these things. But it's 50 weeks of awesome. It would have been 51 weeks if I started it this week. And if I started it last week, it would have been 52 weeks of awesome. But I was sick last week, sick as a dog, and that's why there wasn't an episode last week. I didn't even have the strength to be able to record an episode saying that there wasn't going to be an episode. So that's what's going to happen next week. You could learn a new language. You can do pretty much whatever you wanted to. You could be fluent in a brand new language in 50 weeks. Easy. You could lose 50 kilograms in 50 weeks if you wanted to. And that's the safe way. That's 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds, I think. My metric and imperial conversions are not the best, and I haven't bothered to Google that yet. But I think is it 1 pound it's 2 pounds, 2.2 pounds for every kilometre, for every kilogram. I made a fitness video, and I got that mixed up, and someone jumped on me for getting the miles and the kilometres mixed up. But moving on, doesn't matter. There's a bit of a personal thing. One woman, and I lost a couple of, long story short, I lost a couple of people on Facebook, and I went over and checked. You know when, if you lose someone, like the numbers change, right, on Facebook, and most people don't care. But in the back of your mind, you'll have like a group of people that you know that are more likely to unfriend you for various political views or whatever it is that you may have on Facebook. And it's always a shock when you think, because it's never the person that you suspect. Anyway, this was one of the people that I had suspected. And it was a long process. In person, we got along fine. But online, we would clash a lot. And I'd gotten to a point where I decided that, because what was happening was any other male could click like on her status, because she's very intelligent, very funny. So you click like on a status and leave a comment or whatever, and other guys could get away with it, right? But if I did it, all hell would break loose, right? Because she was under the impression that I was interested in her when I wasn't. There's a 20-year age difference. So I wasn't interested in her at all. And every now and again, she'd do this thing, was like, well, hang on, why are you posting? Who gave you permission to post on my wall? I wasn't posting on a wall, or to reply to her, what's the stuff that she was posting on her wall. And you just think, anybody else. Anyway, it was discriminatory. It was because I don't look like Brad Pitt. That's what it is. That's all it is. So I ended up unfollowing her, not once, because when I unfollowed her the first time, she complained and said, well, why aren't you following me? I need the feedback. So I refollowed her. Then all the drama happened, so I unfollowed her, and I hadn't seen her for like a year. And then she sort of unfriended me. And in some ways, it's a relief, because I don't have to stand on, walk on eggshells around her. And it's just, blech. And you tell this stuff to people, just trying to think, well, hang on, am I right here? Am I wrong here? Am I on the wrong side? Did she have a point? And the general consensus is that no, the other woman was absolutely crazy. Then there's another woman. this woman who had unfriended me and blocked me 10 weeks ago and said, do not ever contact me ever again, whatever. So I had spent the last 10 weeks of my life rebuilding, repairing, because it was an abusive friendship. It was on again, off again, on again, off again. And it was just crazy. So she sends me a Words with Friend game request. And that was 5 days ago. And I decided not to respond to it. Because when you know someone for a decade, and it was on again, off again, on again, off again. She was always in trouble with her boyfriends and just dramas. And you go to do something, and she'd be in your head telling you, don't do this and don't do that. These are the people that you need to separate yourself from. I need to shield myself from them. And the worst part is, because they're female, I look bad, I look misogynistic for highlighting how crazy these people are. This woman thought she was the reincarnation of Julius Caesar and Bob Marley and Nikola Tesla. Absolutely wackadoo people that really should be institutionalized. All right? Real crazy people. Just be grateful that you're not that crazy. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably, okay, well, maybe you're a little bit borderline, but you're not that crazy. You're not thinking that you're the reincarnation of Julius Caesar kind of crazy. The other guy that was cheesing me off recently was a guy who had been boasting, because I mentioned my computer, and a guy was saying, oh yeah, I used to fix computers, and I used to do this and do that. And then he was telling me how he could get a computer for $250, home built with all the parts and stuff, but have it be more powerful than something costing $2,500. So $250 to get a computer that's more powerful than one costing $2,500. And the guy's absolutely full of crap. So I said to him, "Oh, could you write me a list of parts?" And I'll go in there into the various shops and buy individual components and stuff. And for the last 2 weeks, he kept forgetting this so-called list. And it's just one of those things where people make false promises and they lead you on, and they are BS artists, they are liars, and I just had enough. I just had enough of people like that. Now, the stupid thing was, I was prepared to pay him money just for a list of computer parts. I would have paid him money, and he was boasting how he had $120 that he was going to spend on car parts and stuff. I'm thinking, well, I could have given you another another $120, and you'd have twice as much to play with. But because these people piss far around, these people screw you over and knock you around, lie to you, and whatever. I cannot deal with promises. I can only deal with money on the table. Money that's, once it's in my bank account, I can deal with it. You know, it's that do not count your chickens before they're hatched, right? Because people will lie. He will lie to me. He said, "Oh, I had the list on the table, but then the phone rang, and my phone was there, and my phone rang, picked it up, and I forgot about it." I'm thinking, it's just a list. It's just a list. How bad could it be? How hard is it to put it in your wallet? You know? to forget it once or twice, once, maybe twice, but 4 times, yeah, no, I don't have time for that. So I'm moving on, and I'm going to spend my money, good money, on people that deserve it. And you should too. There are tradespeople that listen to this podcast, right? Their reputation is built on quality service, but word of mouth. I have seen the work that these guys do, and I would recommend them. If they wanted me to recommend them on their podcast, I can do that, because I've seen the work that they do, right? But there's people that you just can't. You screw me over, I can't help you. But I can change your life. I can advertise your business through this podcast. And I can do a whole heap of stuff. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I just found a brilliant app. It was advertised through another app, but the app is called Weather Signal, and it actually tells you the current room temperature and the current light levels, the current levels of magnetism in the room. It's brilliant. I didn't know that your mobile phone actually has all these sensors in it. This is only for smartphones and things like that. So the latest Samsung or the latest iPod, it should work on those phones. And it's a great little app, because the purpose of it is to have weather information uploaded to a database, and they can compile like an average. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. My favourite TV shows. Lucifer is absolutely brilliant TV show. It's about the devil losing his wings and just wanting to spend some time on Earth. And he ends up helping a female cop to solve crimes and things like that. But he starts to regain, or at least gain, humanity, and it makes him weaker and things like that. So it's a very interesting story. Lucifer, do check it out. Another favourite is Last Man on Earth, which is a comedy. Absolutely brilliant. Very serial-esque. Like the old-time serials. It'll have a cliffhanger ending at the end of every episode. So it's very brilliant, really well done. I like The Flash, Supergirl, Gotham. And there's quite a few other TV shows that I was going to recommend. But we've got 1:35 left. What I will do... I thought I'd answer an older question that I wanted to answer months ago, but never got around to. The question was, do atheists believe in Satan? And the simple answer is no, because if atheists think that the Bible and everything in it is fiction, that means the devil is fictional as well. And the other question was why I didn't support they had a few guys are doing like a lottery thing on Facebook where you just got to say you're interested in winning the money and stuff like that. I do not gamble myself, and I cannot be seen to be endorsing gambling. But if that's what you want to do, whatever. 30 seconds left. May you take the rest today and the rest of the week easy like a Sunday morn. Okay, now the code word is something, weather. WEATHER, that's the weather. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Please leave feedback, thumb up, like the show, etc., etc. And that's all from me. Look after yourselves. Bye for now.